The rain was falling slowly outside the cafe. The sky was dark, and the sound of raindrops made the whole place feel quiet and lonely. Inside the cafe, warm lights and the smell of fresh coffee filled the air. People were talking softly, typing on laptops, or reading books. But one person was not relaxed at all. His name was Ian. He sat at a small wooden table near the window. His hands were shaking a little, and he kept looking at his phone again and again. He checked the time. He checked the messages. He checked the door. He was waiting for someone. Ian had been waiting for 30 minutes. The person he was supposed to meet had asked him to come here today. That meeting was very important for him, maybe the most important moment of his life. But now, as he sat alone, he started feeling nervous and worried. What if they don't come? What if something went wrong? Why am I sitting here alone? He took a deep breath and tried to calm himself. Just then, the cafe door opened. A little wind entered the cafe. A girl with a soft, worried face walked inside. She looked around as if searching for someone. She held her phone tightly in her hand. Ian noticed her for a second, but then looked away. He thought she was not here for him. But then the unexpected happened. The girl walked straight toward Ian's table. She stopped right in front of him. Ian looked up, confused. She looked confused too. Her eyebrows raised slightly, and then she spoke in a soft but clear voice. "I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong table." Ian froze. Her words were simple, but the moment felt strange. As if something was not happening by accident. As if something was pulling them into the same place at the same second. Ian opened his mouth to reply, but no words came out. He started to say something, but she continued, "I thought this was the table for my meeting, but I think I made a mistake." Ian felt his heartbeat change. The girl smiled awkwardly and stepped back a little. She looked embarrassed. "It's okay," Ian finally said. I am also waiting for someone." The girl laughed softly. "Looks like today is a confusing day for both of us." Her smile was gentle, but there was something strange behind it, something sad, something heavy. Ian could feel it even though they had spoken only a few sentences. Before he could ask anything else, his phone buzzed loudly on the table. One new message. His heart jumped. Maybe it was the person he was waiting for. Maybe everything would be fine now. He quickly picked up the phone and opened the message. What he saw made his face fall instantly. The message said, "I can't come today. We will talk another time." Just a simple sentence, but it hit Ian like a punch. All his hope, all his excitement, all his plans, everything dropped. He closed his eyes for a second. He felt empty. The girl standing near him noticed the change on his face. "Is everything okay?" she asked softly. Ian didn't want to tell a stranger, but at that moment he felt too tired to pretend. "The person I was waiting for, cancelled," he said quietly. The girl looked at him with real concern, not fake sympathy. "Same thing happened to me," she said after a moment. "The person I came to meet didn't show up." Ian looked at her with surprise. That was too strange. Too similar. Too sudden. Like fate had brought two broken plans to the same table. The girl sighed and said, "Maybe we both came to the wrong table today." Ian looked at the empty chair in front of him. Then he looked at her. And for the first time since he entered the cafe, he felt something different. Something he couldn't explain, but something that told him. For a moment, silence sat between Ian and the girl. The sound of rain outside felt louder, and the cafe lights seemed softer. Ian stared at his phone, still unable to believe the message he just received. His important meeting, his hope for a new beginning, was gone in one sentence. The girl slowly pulled out the chair in front of him. She waited for a second, as if asking with her eyes if she could sit. Ian nodded gently. She sat down, placing her phone on the table with a tired breath. "My name is Sarah," she said quietly. "Ian," he replied, forcing a small smile. Both of them looked like strangers who shared the same bad day. Two people who were not supposed to meet, yet somehow ended up at the same table at the same time. Sarah looked at Ian's face for a moment. "Your message, it looked important," she said gently. "It was," he replied with a dry laugh. But I guess not important enough for them. Sarah nodded slowly. It hurts, she said. When someone cancels. When you wait, and they don't come. Ian tilted his head. Were you waiting for someone important too? Sarah looked down at her hands. Her fingers played with the edge of her phone. Yes, she said softly. Very important. Her voice suddenly carried a sadness she tried to hide. Ian didn't ask more. He could see she was holding something inside, something heavy. To break the silence, Sarah asked, "Why was your meeting important?" Ian took a breath. "It was a chance," he said. "A chance to change my life. I thought today would be a new start. I was ready for it." He looked at the empty doorway of the cafe. "But I guess life had other plans." Sarah gave him a small, warm look. "Sometimes," she said, "the plan we expect fails, because a better one is waiting." Ian looked at her. "Do you believe that?" Sarah smiled sadly. "I want to." They sat quietly again. The waiter passed by, and Ian ordered a simple coffee. Sarah ordered tea. They were strangers, but the silence between them didn't feel uncomfortable this time. It felt shared. After a few minutes, Sarah leaned forward slightly. "Do you know why I came here today?" she asked. Ian shook his head. "No. But you can tell me if you want." She looked at her cup before speaking. "I came to meet someone who promised to help me. Someone who said they understood my dreams. But they didn't come. And they didn't even say sorry." Ian frowned. "That sounds really hurtful." "It is," she whispered. "Because I trusted them. And now I don't know what to do next." Ian felt a strange pull in his chest. Their stories were different, yet the feeling was the same. Two people who came with hope, and were left with disappointment. Just then, a loud thunder cracked outside. Sarah jumped slightly. Ian noticed her fear and asked, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," she lied, but her eyes said something else. Ian's phone buzzed again. He sighed before checking it. The message was from a friend. "Sorry, bro. I told him you'd be there early. No idea why he cancelled last minute." Ian shook his head. Everything felt strange today. Sarah saw his expression and asked, "More bad news?" "Not exactly," he replied. "Just more confusion." Sarah nodded. "Today feels like that. A confusing day." Ian looked at her. "Maybe there's a reason behind all this." She raised an eyebrow. "Like what?" Ian shrugged, but his voice was calm. "Like maybe we were supposed to meet." Sarah looked at him for a long moment. Not smiling, not joking, just thinking. "Strangers don't meet without a reason," she said finally. The words hung in the air. Ian felt something shift inside him, a small spark, something new. And then, Sarah's phone rang. Her face changed instantly. Fear. Shock. Worry. Ian straightened in his seat. "What happened?" Sarah swallowed hard. It's not good. I need to go." But before she could stand up, she looked at Ian and whispered, "I think our stories just got connected."
For a few seconds, Ian could only watch Sarah's face turn pale. She kept staring at her ringing phone as if she was afraid to answer it. The cafe noise slowly faded for both of them. The rain outside, the music, the people talking, everything became quiet in their minds. "Are you okay?" Ian asked softly. Sarah finally slid her finger across the screen and answered the call. Her voice was gentle at first. "Hello." Then suddenly her expression changed. Her eyes widened. She stood up quickly, pushing her chair back with a sharp sound. No, please tell me clearly, what happened?" she said, her voice shaking. Ian could only hear small pieces of the conversation. Words like hospital, accident, urgent, and come now. When the call ended, Sarah placed her phone on the table with trembling hands. She wasn't crying, but her eyes were full of fear. "My aunt," she whispered. "She fell down the stairs. She's in the hospital. They said she needs someone there. There's no one else." Ian stood up immediately. "Do you need help?" Sarah took a breath to steady herself. "I need to go." But the hospital is far, and I didn't bring my car today. She looked toward the door helplessly. I don't even know if I'll reach in time. Ian didn't think twice. I'll come with you. Sarah looked at him as if she didn't understand his words. But, we just met. I know, Ian said calmly. But no one should go through something scary alone. She hesitated for a moment, then nodded slowly. Thank you. They rushed out of the cafe together. The rain was heavier now. Cold drops hit their faces as they stepped outside, but they didn't care. Ian raised his hand for a taxi. Two passed by without stopping, splashing water on the road. After a tense minute, a taxi finally pulled over. They got inside quickly. The driver asked, "Where to?" Sarah gave the hospital name, her voice still shaking. As the taxi moved, Ian looked at Sarah. She stared out the window, her fingers tight around her phone. Her breath was fast, uneven. "Do you want to talk about it?" he asked gently. She shook her head at first. Then, slowly, she spoke. "My aunt is like my mother. I live with her. She raised me. If anything happens to her..." Ian listened quietly. There was nothing he could say to make her feel better, but his presence seemed to calm her a little. "I'm sorry," he said. "I hope she will be okay." Sarah nodded. "I just wish the person I was supposed to meet today had kept their promise. They were going to help me with something important for my aunt." She looked at her hands. But they didn't even show up. Ian felt a strange twist in his chest. He didn't know why, but he felt their stories were more connected than they realized. The taxi stopped at a red signal. Rain washed over the glass, making the city lights look blurry. Ian watched Sarah's reflection in the wet window. Even in fear, she looked strong, like someone who had learned to survive many storms. "How long have you been living with your aunt?" he asked. "Since I was 9, she replied. "My parents passed away early. After that, she was the only one who cared for me. And now, she needs someone." Ian's heart softened. "You're not alone today," he said. She turned to him. Her eyes were sad, but grateful. "Thank you for coming with me. You didn't have to." "I know," Ian said with a small smile. "But fate had other plans today, remember?" For the first time since the call, Sarah almost smiled. The taxi finally reached the hospital. Sarah stepped out quickly, but before running inside, she looked back at Ian. "Will you come with me?" she asked quietly. Ian nodded without hesitation. "Of course." Together they walked into the hospital, two strangers brought together by a wrong table, a cancelled meeting, and Destiny's secret plan. They didn't know it yet, but this moment was only the beginning. The hospital smelled like medicine and worry. Bright white lights made everything look sharp and cold. Sarah hurried through the hallway with quick steps, and Ian followed close behind her. Even though he had never been here before, he felt responsible, as if this moment somehow belonged to both of them. At the reception desk, a nurse looked up. "Name of the patient?" "Sarah's aunt." "Fazana Malik," Sarah said, almost out of breath. The nurse checked the computer. "Room 204. She is stable for now, but she needs someone with her." Those words made Sarah take a deep breath of relief. For a moment, her shoulders relaxed. She wasn't fully calm, but at least her aunt was alive. Ian placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Let's go." They walked to room 204. Sarah knocked softly and then pushed the door open. Inside, the room was quiet, except for the slow beeping of a machine. Her aunt lay on the bed, a bandage wrapped around her head. Her eyes were closed, but she seemed peaceful. Sarah went to her side and held her hand. Tears finally filled her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "She looks okay," Ian said softly. "She always looks strong," Sarah whispered. "Even when she's hurting." Ian stood near the window, giving Sarah space. He watched her gently stroke her aunt's hand. He could feel her love. He could feel her fear. And he could feel something else, something strange, like a quiet whisper inside him telling him this moment was connected to his own life in ways he still didn't understand. A doctor entered the room. "Are you family?" "Yes," Sarah said quickly. "And you?" the doctor asked Ian. Ian hesitated. Before he could speak, Sarah said, "He's with me." The doctor nodded. Your aunt had a severe fall. She hit her head badly. She's stable now, but she will need help for the next few weeks. She should not stay alone. Sarah's eyes widened. I will take care of her. The doctor smiled kindly. Good. She needs someone who can stay with her. When the doctor left, Sarah sat on the chair beside the bed. She looked tired, not physically, but emotionally drained. Do you want some water? Ian asked. She nodded. Yes, thank you. Ian stepped outside and returned with a small bottle. Sarah took it with shaky hands. Ian, she said suddenly, I didn't tell you something. He pulled a chair beside her. Tell me when you're ready. She looked at her aunt. I didn't come to the cafe today just for a meeting. I went there because someone promised to give me something important, money. Ian didn't react immediately. He simply listened. My aunt needs treatment, she continued. Medicine, tests, home help, everything costs money. I work, but it's not enough. The person I was supposed to meet today knew my situation. They said they could help. But instead, her voice broke. They didn't show up. Ian felt a shock inside him. Why would they promise help and then disappear? I don't know, Sarah whispered. Maybe they changed their mind. Maybe they never cared. Maybe they just wanted to give me hope. Ian stared at the floor. Something about her story felt too familiar, painfully familiar. He remembered his own message. He remembered the person who cancelled on him today. He remembered the important meeting he rushed to the cafe for. Sarah's words echoed in his mind. Someone who promised help, someone who didn't show up, someone connected to today. A cold feeling ran through him. Ian, Sarah said quietly. Why are you so quiet? He looked at her slowly, as if waking from a dream. Sarah, can I ask you something? She nodded. The person you were meeting, what was their name? She took a breath. His name was.
Before she could finish, her aunt moved slightly and whispered something. Sarah quickly leaned in, listening to her aunt's weak voice. Ian waited, but his heart was beating fast, too fast. When Sarah finally turned back to him, she said, Sorry, what were you asking? Ian swallowed, forcing a calm smile. Nothing, he said softly. We'll talk later. But inside, he knew this story was no longer just fate. It was becoming a secret that connected both their lives. Ian stood quietly near the window, but his mind was anything except quiet. Sarah's words kept repeating inside his head like an echo he couldn't escape. Someone promised to help me. They didn't show up. He thought about the message he received earlier. I can't come today. We will talk another time. The timing was too perfect. The place was the same. The disappointment was the same. And the biggest question kept hitting him like a wave. Was it the same person? He watched Sarah gently adjust the blanket over her aunt. There was so much care in her touch. So much love. It made Ian feel something strange, sadness, sympathy, and a quiet anger that someone could leave her waiting like that. Sarah turned to him, wiping her eyes gently. Thank you for staying. You didn't have to. Ian sat down beside her. I wanted to. She gave a tired smile. I still feel like today is testing me. First the meeting failed, then the accident, and now. I don't even know how we will handle her treatment. Ian leaned forward. Sarah, can I ask one thing? Just so I understand. She nodded slowly. This person who promised to meet you, how do you know them? Sarah took a long breath. It's a long story. I have time, Ian said softly. She stared at her aunt for a moment before speaking. A few months ago, I asked for help online. Not money, just guidance. I wanted someone to tell me what I should do, how to save for her medical care. Someone replied. He said he could help me with real support, not just advice. Ian felt his heart tighten. Did you trust him? At first, no, she admitted. But he talked kindly. He understood my situation. He promised he would find a way to help us. He said he only helped people who really deserved it. That made me believe him. Ian swallowed. So he asked to meet today? Yes. Sarah looked down. He said this meeting would decide everything. He asked me to come to the cafe. He said he would give me something important. But he didn't come. Ian didn't speak. He didn't want her to know yet. Not until he was sure. Did he tell you his full name? Ian asked carefully. Sarah shook her head. No. He said I only needed to know his first name. Ian's chest grew heavier. What was it? She opened her mouth, but before she could speak, her aunt shifted again, letting out a weak sound. Sarah stood up quickly. Let me check her. She might be waking up. Ian stood near the doorway, watching them with mixed emotions. Sarah held her aunt's hand and whispered comforting words. Her devotion was clear. Whoever had ignored her today had done more than break a promise, they had broken trust. A nurse entered the room to check the patient's vitals. She smiled kindly at Sarah. She'll recover. She needs rest. When the nurse left, Sarah returned to Ian. Sorry, you were asking something. Ian took a deep breath. He felt the truth sitting heavy on his tongue, but he forced himself to stay calm. What was his name? He repeated gently. Sarah hesitated for a moment. His name was Harris. Ian froze. His meeting today was supposed to be with a man named Harris too. He felt the ground shift beneath him. The pieces suddenly fit too cleanly. Too perfectly. Sarah continued, not noticing his shock. I don't want to think bad of him. Maybe something happened. Maybe he will explain later. But today, he left me alone. Ian sat down slowly, his hands cold. Sarah, I think I know him. She looked up sharply. You know Harris? Ian nodded faintly. I think he is the one I was supposed to meet today. Sarah's eyes widened. What? But why would he meet you too? Ian felt a cold truth rising inside him. Because he promised me something as well. Their breath stopped for a moment. 2 promises. 2 meetings. 2 disappointments. Same person. Same day. Same cafe. Sarah covered her mouth with her hand, shocked. Ian, what does this mean? Ian looked into her eyes, and for the first time that day, he felt the truth settle clearly. For a long moment, neither Ian nor Sarah spoke. The hospital room felt still, as if time itself had paused. The soft beep of the machine next to Sarah's aunt was the only sound. Outside the window, rain slid down the glass in slow, heavy lines. Ian finally broke the silence. Sarah, I didn't know your story was connected to mine. Not like this. Sarah tried to steady her voice. But why would Harris meet both of us? Why promise both of us something important on the same day? Ian took a slow breath. Harris is known for making big promises. He tells people he can change their lives. He likes to sound like a hero. But he never commits fully. He has done this before. Sarah's eyes softened with confusion. Then why did you trust him? Ian looked down at his hands. Because I was desperate. I thought he could help me get a job opportunity. He said he could connect me with the right people. I believed him. Sarah nodded sadly. I believed him too. The truth was painful, but it also brought clarity, a strange calmness. 2 strangers who walked into a cafe with different hopes had now found the same answer, even if it hurt. Sarah looked toward her aunt, then back at Ian. But, if he lied to both of us, if he left both of us waiting, what should we do now? Ian raised his head slowly, a thoughtful look forming in his eyes. Maybe we should stop waiting for him. Maybe we should start helping ourselves. She stared at him, surprised by the firmness in his voice. How? Ian leaned forward slightly. Sarah, you're stronger than you think. Today you handled fear, shock, and pain alone. You deserve real help, not fake promises. And your aunt deserves care from someone who won't disappear. But I don't have enough, Sarah whispered, her voice breaking. Her treatment, my job. I can't do everything alone. Ian placed his hand gently on the table near hers. You're not alone anymore. She blinked, confused. What do you mean? Ian smiled softly. I want to help you. Not because of pity. Not because of your situation. But because I want to. Because meeting you today felt like something real, something right. Sarah looked into his eyes. She saw sincerity. She saw warmth. She saw someone who didn't walk away. But Ian, we just met today, she whispered, her voice trembling. Sometimes fate doesn't need time, he said quietly. Sometimes one meeting is enough to show who truly stands with you. Sarah lowered her gaze, and a small tear escaped her eye. But this time, it wasn't fear, it was relief. Ian continued gently, "We don't need Harris. We don't need his promises. We can make our own plan. Together." She wiped her tear quickly and nodded. "You're right. Today I thought everything was falling apart, but maybe something new was starting." Ian smiled. "Exactly." Just then, Sarah's aunt opened her eyes slowly. She looked weak, but she was conscious. Sarah rushed to her side. "Auntie, I'm here." Her aunt tried to speak. "You came?" "Of course," Sarah whispered. "I will always come." Ian stood beside them. The old woman's eyes moved to him. "Who is he?" Sarah looked at Ian, then back at her aunt. "Someone fate sent today." Ian felt warmth rise in his